An intriguing question remains: what would make a car enthusiast who owns more than 180 cars reject the idea of owning a Ferrari? This curiosity revolves around the incredible Jay Leno, one of the most celebrated comedians in the United States and an unparalleled automotive collector. With so much money available and a deep love for cars, why would he decide not to buy a Ferrari? This is a lesser-known story, and I'm delighted to share it with you today on Cruise Control, the channel where we talk about historical events, stories, and facts from the automotive world. For those who are not yet familiar with Jay Leno, let me introduce him a bit. He is an American equivalent of our Joe Suarez, but with a profound fascination for cars. Besides being a comedian, he is a longtime TV host, and something that catches attention in Leno's vast garage is the absence of a Ferrari. But why doesn't he have one? Don't worry, by the end of the video, you'll understand. Moreover, he employs 2 full-time mechanics in his workshop, where he works on cars to keep them always running. Also, Leno's pride lies in ensuring that any vehicle in his garage is ready to be used at any moment. He owns about 200 cars and no motorcycles, and his collection is valued at over $100 million. Throughout Leno's life, his passion for cars and motorcycles has been remarkably consistent, leading to the accumulation of such an impressive collection. Despite everything, he doesn't sell any of his cars, and his daily routine is noteworthy. He performs stand-up shows, driving a different car each day. During the day, he can be found in one of his collection warehouses, working on his cars alongside one of his mechanics. Leno takes pride in the fact that all his cars are fully functional. For those who are not as passionate about cars, the idea of starting a car and having it work might seem obvious, just like turning on a stove and immediately getting a flame. Cars were made to function, right? However, anyone who owns more than 1 or 2 cars knows how challenging it is to keep them all running, especially when dealing with classic and vintage cars, which make up the majority of Leno's collection. So, this is truly an admirable feat. Now, you might be wondering, why does he refuse to buy a Ferrari? Where did this idea come from? That's what the journalist asked him, and Jay's response was, "I like one." Let me reiterate what I already explained, in case it wasn't clear to you. I'm not sure how the Ferrari purchasing process works in Brazil, but in the United States, it's not as simple as walking into a Ferrari store and choosing the Ferrari you desire, unless you are a well-known personality, as is the case with Jay Leno today. However, he refuses to buy based on past experiences. As far as we know, the buying process goes somewhat like this: you visit a Ferrari store and simply want a top-of-the-line model, your dream model, the current one with a front V12 engine. But it's not that simple. The Ferrari team wants to ensure that you are a Ferrari customer who won't tarnish the brand's reputation. So, they may suggest that you purchase a pre-owned model to establish a relationship with the brand. After buying a pre-owned Ferrari as a starting point, you'll be welcomed into the Ferrari family, and if you take good care of the car and maintain your relationship with the brand, you might eventually have the opportunity to buy a new one. But for Jay Leno, this process doesn't appeal to him, and that's why he doesn't have a Ferrari in his garage. You may request, perhaps, a new entry-level model now with a mid-engine V8, and from there, you start developing this relationship with the Ferrari brand. As time goes by, they will offer you upgrades and updates with a kind of personal credit within Ferrari. However, Jay doesn't agree with this practice. He argues that if someone has the money to buy a Ferrari, they should just go there and buy a Ferrari. There's no need to go through a kind of relationship process to get the desired model. Although I understand Leno's point of view, I also need to admit that I comprehend Ferrari's position. Both have very solid arguments, and it's worth mentioning that these are unofficial rules of the brand, not publicly known, but almost everyone is aware of these unwritten rules, as they say. It might seem absurd, right? To go there and buy a product, and maybe the dealer doesn't want to sell to you. But what if I tell you that Ferrari has already sued one of their own clients because he posted a picture of his new sneakers on the hood of one of their cars, which, unfortunately, was a Ferrari too? The story of DJ Dedim Mouse receiving a cease and desist letter from the Italian brand's lawyers asking him to remove the wrapping he put on his own car, which was also a Ferrari, is another example. For instance, Justin Bieber, who has done so much painting, etc., with his Ferraris, was prohibited from buying a car from the brand. In the same interview, Leno mentions a rather controversial thing. He says he doesn't want to have to give $25,000 to a sketchy guy in a Ferrari behind a church just to be able to buy the car he wants. It's a complicated situation, but it's worth remembering that we are talking about Leno's opinion about Ferrari and in the United States, where he lives. I don't know how things work at Ferrari in other parts of the world. Another crucial thing to say is that Leno likes Ferrari cars. He doesn't speak badly about their technology or the manufacturer. He just doesn't like the way Ferrari deals with its customers nowadays. Given who he is, he could certainly walk into any Ferrari, Rolls-Royce, or any other dealership and buy the car he desires. That would be excellent for the image of Ferrari. After all, he likes their cars and speaks highly of them. Moreover, he is a collector. If he had a Ferrari in his collection, it would be a great advantage for the brand since he has a lot of influence in the collector world. People even ask him which cars he owns to get as close as possible to the wealth he has in terms of car collection. Admiringly, people are truly in awe of Leno's collection. He really knows cars, that's a fact. He is not just a person with money who buys them. He prefers to spend his money supporting brands that treat their customers better. He even mentions a case that happened with a McLaren, for example. The McLaren team called him to offer an upgrade for his car. When he asked how much it would cost, they simply said there was no cost at all. Leno wouldn't need to take his McLaren to the manufacturer to add 25 horsepower. He also tells that he wanted to put carbon brakes on one of his McLaren models he bought, and the McLaren salesman asked if he would use that car on the racetrack. When Leno said he would only use it on the streets, the salesman suggested he save around $20,000 since he wouldn't need those for street driving. Leno saw this as valuable advice and thanked him, as he had no idea about this information. Now, I'd like to hear your opinion. What do you think about Ferrari choosing its customers in this way, and what do you think about Jay Leno's standpoint of being able to buy a Ferrari but choosing not to due to his principles and what the brand does? If you're a fan of sports cars and powerful engines and got curious about this Ferrari story, I have a great invitation and suggestion for you. The video that's playing on your screen now talks about a possible electric motor capable of surpassing Tesla's engine, combining 3 more models like this engine, making it able to reach an incredible 1,000 horsepower. If you're curious, I advise you to check it out. It's from a brand that I'm sure you know, which makes motorcycles, but you had no idea they had their engines in some car models too. So, leave your like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to activate the notifications because I post new videos every day. See you tomorrow.